Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm in Manhattan, New York City, in the Diamond District specifically. I am walking around in front of these jewelry shops, and I'm going to be scraping these sidewalk cracks, collecting up all that material with a vacuum, and then we'll be processing it later in the video. And why am I doing that, right? Well, if you think about it, all these shops, these repair shops specifically, they grind down their gold rings and fixing jewelry and all kinds of stuff. And these workers get the dust on their clothes. They step outside after work, and that stuff falls onto the ground. And just like in nature, the gold is super dense, and it'll find its way to the bottom. And so these are sidewalk cracks. It's a natural sluice box, just like up in the mountains in Colorado where I live. So we're gonna get the tools, get the vacuum, start scraping, and just like every year, we're gonna find a bunch of stuff. I hope you guys enjoy the video. This is Tracks NYC. They're, obviously closed. It's about 10:30 p.m. We're definitely gonna check in front of this store. The cracks aren't great here though, as you can see. I mean, there is some material in here. What we're looking for is these big fat cracks like this. See all this material here? That's where the stuff's gonna collect. A lot of these cracks look pretty clean. Yeah, look how deep this one's been cleaned out. But they've got the right idea though. You gotta get all the way to the bottom, because think about it, when the gold gets in there and it rains, it all gets liquefied and all the heavy stuff goes to the bottom. If you don't scrape the very bottom, if you don't get to the very bottom, like using a vacuum like I do, you're not gonna get too much. So I do have my vacuum. Let's go grab that and stop talking and get to work. This is the easy part, by the way. The hard part is when we get back to Colorado and start going through all the material and processing it. Okay, we're gonna start at Exchange 58. You can see that somebody tried cleaning the cracks out, but I doubt that they got to the very bottom. So first of all, I'll show you the equipment that I brought. We'll get set up like right here. Yeah, they got down pretty far in this crack, look at that. Okay, the gear I'm bringing this year is my normal Milwaukee vacuum. This time I'm bringing a little, I think it's a grout trowel or something. It's like the perfect size to fit in between there. And also a bucket. I'm gonna try to fill this as much as I can, but we'll see how we do. And I do have some gloves, but you know what? I wanna work quickly, and it's really hard to record and press the button and everything with these on, so I'm just gonna get my hands dirty, work quick, and we'll see what we can find. So if you haven't seen these videos before, it's very simple. I just get down there, scrape this stuff out. Right, I'll just do a little sample for you. And then I take the vacuum and clean it up. And that's pretty much the whole process. I'm gonna do as much as I can. I'm gonna fill up that bucket as much as I can and see what we get. But I got a lot of work to do. I see something here that might be something. I'm not sure what that is. It looks like jewelry, a jewelry piece of some sort. Maybe some kind of a watch part or something. I don't know, I'm sure the jewelers in the comments will let me know what that is. I'll throw it in the bucket. Man, I usually do this when there's a lot less people around, a lot less copyright strike music in the background, people just looking at me. I mean, it is what it is. It comes with the territory, but here we are. This tool actually kind of sucks. It's more flexible than I'd like. A screwdriver would actually be better. I do have one of those in the car too, so. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go get the screwdriver. This thing kind of sucks. All right. And there we go. A giant screwdriver. You know what, a lot of this stuff is too sticky, so I'm just gonna like grab it, man. Yeah, this works pretty good, but it's not as good as my actual sidewalk scraping hook that I usually bring every year, so maybe next year I'll do that. All right, now that I got all the chunky mud, I could just go over it with the vacuum, but look, I got a good amount just from like one crack there. I'm doing a service for the city. I'm cleaning the sidewalk for free. Yeah, I already have to empty this out. I wonder what people are actually thinking as they walk by. I can hear a lot of people speaking different languages, but I can't understand what they're, I have no idea. A lot of these people probably have no idea, but there's a good chance that some of them do, because some of these videos have millions and millions of views. Like I said before, the trick is to get to the very, very bottom, right? I'm not even close yet. So I gotta spend more time. I'm finding like lollipop handles and pens and all sorts of things. So I'm gonna go through this until it's pretty darn clean. Look how much is still left in here. Yeah, I just got like another pound of dirt there. It's still a little muddy. I'm getting a little bit plugged up, but it's not terrible. All right, I'm gonna finish cleaning this crack and then we'll move along. That one single crack to here, so from like here to there, I got an easy 1/5 of a bucket of material, and I'm still not to the very bottom. All right, we're at Tracks NYC, and right here, right there, is like the only crack that looks promising. Everything else is kind of like filled in the way that they're supposed to, with like, you know, real grout. Again, I'll show you the ground here. See this stuff here? They got smart and they just filled it in. That's what you're supposed to do. So yeah, there's one crack. Actually, there's another small crack here. I'll clean that one out. And we'll get this one right here. That one looks pretty good. Actually, that might be grout too. If it's grout, we're not going to destroy it, obviously. We'll give them a free cleaning tonight. All right. Yeah, you know what? That's grout. We're not going to dig. There's a little bit of material here on top, but can't really do Tracks NYC, which is smart on them, because who wants big ugly gaps in front of their shop, right? All right, we're gonna cross the street. We're gonna try this side. My car's actually parked like right over there. All right, here's a pretty nice crack. We'll go ahead and clean this one out. So I actually just saw a diamond right over here as I was vacuuming. So it's in the vacuum, it's in the bucket. The bucket's about halfway full. And I don't know if I showed this in any of my other episodes in this series, but right here is a concrete diamond. So I'm gonna scrape around that, of course. Here comes the copyright strike mobile. Why do they choose the worst music in the world? I'm actually making really good progress. Honestly, I don't think I need a full bucket. I think we're actually good.
It was hilarious. I was only talking about this.
What's that?
I was talking about how people do this, like find like stuff.
Oh yeah, man.
And then I saw you doing it.
He's a big one. Yeah, that's me, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
What's
But
the craziest thing you found?
I always find diamonds and gold, right? And you know what gold's worth today?
Yeah, it's insane.
So when I came back this year, I noticed a lot of these cracks have been already scraped out because people have been watching my videos, coming over here, and obviously it's smart to come and get some gold for yourself, but you have to work for it. You see, I'm sweating right now.
Yeah.
No,
Smart.
it's
Nobody else wants to do it.
exactly. So
That's awesome.
anyway, nice meeting you guys.
Nice meeting you too.
Yeah, I'm Shane, by the way.
Devon.
Devon, Andrew and Devon. All right, guys, have a good night.
Have a good one. Good luck.
Thank you. All right, guys, look at this. I found another dreadlock. It's just like hair and feathers and cigarette butts and oh yeah, gold and diamonds. It's absolutely disgusting, but if you keep watching, I promise you'll see why this is worth it. All right, everyone, I got about a half a bucket of material here. First thing I'm gonna do is wash my hands 10 times, and I'll see you guys back in Colorado. Okay, here it is, about 4 pounds of New York City Sidewalk skudge. It's hard to see here in this lighting, but there are little diamonds and stuff you can see sparkling in there. Normally, when I process this every year, I like to use fire and burn off all the hair and plastic and stuff, but a lot of people have said that that's not a good idea because it could destroy some of the things that we're looking for, and I agree with that. So what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna skip that step completely, and we're gonna go straight to soaking this stuff for a couple hours in water and bleach, and then agitating it. And then that way, all of the non-gold and non-diamonds will float to the top. We can skim that off and throw it away. And then all the gold and diamonds will sink to the bottom. And we can rinse it a couple times, get it kind of sanitary. And then, of course, I'm still gonna wear gloves when I'm touching this stuff. Okay, the idea is to soak the skudge in some bleach water. And we'll let that sit like overnight. I'm gonna go ahead and mix that up real good. And we'll come back tomorrow when all the heavy stuff is separated out. There's a pen in there. TD Bank. What else is floating in here? All kinds of gross stuff. I'm just gonna let it soak overnight, and we'll deal with that tomorrow. I'm gonna put it outside though, for sure. I also have the filter. Oh, there's stuff in here too. I guess that rattled loose on the ride home. Also, the filter is in here, which may contain stuff. We can process that as well. What is that gold thing in there? Did you see that? Let's see if I could fish it out of there. That might be some kind of candy wrapper. Maybe it's real gold. I don't think so. This is gross. Look at all that hair. Oh, this is so gross, dude. There's a lot of stuff caked up in there. You can see the moisture in there because it was muddy when I was doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this. We'll get everything in the pan. This is so freaking gross, dude. Oh my God, I'm gonna throw up. All right. This is so bad. Why do I do this? I do it for the scribers. All right, looking at the filter up close, you can see there is stuff stuck in there. Like there's obvious dirt in there. There was a little bit in the filter. Now I need to scrape this thing out. Look at all that stuff that was stuck in there. All right, the vacuum is pretty darn clean, so we can put that back together. And I went ahead and added a little bit of bleach to this as well. The hair just grosses me out more than anything, I think. All right, so I'm gonna drain this off and then rinse it and drain it and rinse it and drain it maybe 4 or 5 times to get rid of that black muck so we can actually see what's going on in there. And after processing what was in the filter and stuck in the vacuum, you can see all this metal material here. Now, every time I refine this stuff, that is a very high percentage of gold. So I'm just gonna collect that up with a snuffer bottle here. Throughout the video, I'll collect all that up, and then at the end of the video, we can process it. Every time I pan it back though, there's more and more. Not much more, but definitely enough to spend the time to collect it. Look at that. And this is just from the filter. This we didn't even get started yet. So after rinsing the material, this is what it looks like. You can see it kind of looks just like concrete gravel. And this is actually a piece of metal in here, and there's a lot of other stuff in there that we still have to go through. When I would rinse it though, I would pour it into the second bucket, and everything that sunk to the bottom, I kept it. And it looks like there may be a gemstone in this side. It's really hard to tell. I gotta get my tweezers for that. It's not a diamond, it's just a little shiny sparkle or something. It's supposed to be hot tomorrow. I'll let it dry off in these metal pans, and then we can start processing it further. All right, it's the next day. I have this stuff drying in the sun. This is the overflow stuff. I might do a sample of that just to see if there's any gold at all in it. And if there's not, we won't bother panning this at all. Now, everything that floated to the top, like the hair and the plastic and little pieces of different things, I am gonna cook this with some fire just for fun. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the magnetic material from this. This was all picked up by the magnet. It's kind of like just a mix of just random metals, and usually I find more staples. This is not magnetic, which means it could contain gold. All right, here's the magnetic and non-magnetic material. This looks kind of like just dirt, but it's actually all magnetic. This is everything that was left behind, which means gold, diamonds, silver. Now the gold, the diamonds, the silver, all the metals are the heaviest part. So this is called stratification, and basically liquefying everything, pouring off stuff that is not sinking to the bottom. And then just repeating that process a few times, get rid of all the floaty stuff that's, you know, not what we're looking for. You have to really take your time here. We're just gonna slowly pan it back. So I can already see gold showing up on this side. This is all about technique and patience. This is gonna take me all day. All the material that gets washed back, I just eliminate it and start over. Even if you're very careful and very slow, you're always gonna miss a little bit. All right, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but there's an actual chain in there. Unfortunately, it's magnetic, which means it's not gold or silver. Here's the magnetic material that the magnet grabbed. Little staples and like paper clips. It's a little chain in there and stuff. And then this is all of the dried out skudge. What I'm gonna do with this is actually classify it to 1/4 inch. We'll use this Arbor Fabricating classifier. Let's take a closer look. All right, so it's mostly hair and rocks and some other things, little sticks, and I'm not seeing any big chunks of jewelry. I think that's some kind of a button. Looks like a mushroom. There's a piece of glass right there. So I'm not seeing too much in there. Now for all the dried out skudge, the first thing I'm noticing is down here. Can you see it? Oh, nice, dude. 925. That means sterling silver. And there's a little skull on the other side. All right, awesome. I'll put all the interesting finds in a separate pan for now. Now I'm just gonna take some time and pan through the magnetic material, the big stuff, just to see if there's anything in there. After panning out the plus 1/4 inch stuff with all the big rocks, I actually found a decent amount of gold here. You can even see a broken gold chain link right there. Now, even as someone who's been doing this for 10 plus years, this is some of the most difficult material to process because you're not only looking for gold. If I was only looking for gold, it would be a lot easier, but I'm looking for gemstones as well. All right, finally, we're at the good part. And so I'm gonna classify it again. You can see there's some bigger pebbles and stuff. Classifying it makes it easier. Okay, first I'll classify it to 1/8 inch. Again, these are Arbor Fabricating classifiers. I'll have a link down below for this, plus a discount code if you want one. All right, I have it classified into a few different sizes. This is a little bit smaller, and this is all the fine material. By far, this here is gonna take the longest because we literally have to go through it grain by grain looking for diamonds. I'm not gonna bore you with that entire process. We'll do that last anyway. First, let's get rid of these. I already see that pearl that we found earlier. Is it a real pearl? I would say probably because it's really small. I don't see any holes or anything in it like it would be a bead. But I would guess that's probably real. So this is the part where I just kind of pick through everything very slowly, listen to music, and I will let you know if and when I find something interesting. I'm finding little chunks of glass in here, green, blue, orange. Now after looking through this stuff by eye, I'm still gonna pan it out. That way if there was like a little piece of gold that was covered in dirt, I'll find it here. So here's a staple, there's some gold up here, and then there's a little piece of metal right here. That could be anything. Grab all this. This next classification size has some obvious gemstones and things right on the top. I believe this is a ruby. Here we have a little piece of a chain right here. I'm not sure if this is a gemstone or what. It's definitely intentionally cut this way. I'm not sure what that is. It looks like a little metallic BB right there. Maybe it's just a bead. I think I have another red gemstone here. Sorry for the shaky camera, but right there I see a possible diamond. I think this might be an opal. When the light hits it the right way, it shows like orange. I'm not sure what that is, just a whoops. It's gone. I'd say we're doing pretty good for just getting started. I've never found one of these before. I don't know if that's garnet or ruby, and I've found plenty of these little rubies before. So that's pretty good. All right, we have a lot more to go through. There we go, there's a piece of broken gold jewelry right there. All right, so I'm panning it out now, and this is what we're looking for. They're nearly invisible, little tiny gemstones like this. And that's why it takes so long. I can see a little opal chip in there. I brought everything outside so I can see things a little bit better. So here's basically the whole process. I take a small amount, maybe this much, right? I bring it over here. I pan it out. I have my water over here. And as I pan this stuff back, you can see all sorts of interesting stuff. So I picked this up and I brought it over into the sun. And the first thing I noticed, I don't know if it's showing up on camera, right here is a very sparkly diamond. I can't tell if that's a little blue gemstone. I'm pretty sure that is a gemstone. Lots of gold in this pan too. Here's a little chain link. This diamond is like super shiny. That's crazy. I've never seen one of these before. It's like really bright orange. And don't worry, we'll look at all this stuff up close at the end. There we go, I see a green one. It definitely looks like a cut gemstone. And there's a ton of gold in this pan. Look at all that. All right, there's a guest appearance by Timber, and we are pretty much, we have a little bit left to go. But look at this pan right here. Take a look at this. Those are all diamonds and cubic zirconias and rubies and gold and all sorts of stuff. In this one pan, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like maybe 6, just on the top. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely check out my playlist, my urban prospecting playlist. I do this not only in New York, I do it in other locations as well. These little pieces of gold are far more valuable than the diamonds. The diamonds really aren't that valuable unless they're big. And I'm not finding any gigantic ones here. These are all just little tiny ones, which is usually what I find. Sometimes I find bigger ones though. I emptied out the snuffer bottle, and this is the gold. Actually, I think I see a couple gemstones in there too. I'll pick those out. All right, I have everything laid out here, and I counted about 20 diamond-like gemstones. Usually when I test them, it's about 50% cubic zirconia and 50% genuine diamonds. And I'll put the results here on the screen. These are the genuine diamonds, and then there's only like 6 moissanite. I found about 6 or 7 reddish gemstones, garnets or rubies. I would guess the darker ones are garnets. The more red ones are probably rubies. It's pretty cool, right? This one here is actually broken. Here's some other things. Metal balls. There's that chunk of silver we found. This is all gold here. This one actually says 10K right on it, so we know that's 10 karat. Most of this gold is probably 10 or 14 karat. Here it is, the gold, 2.12 grams. Plus we have a small amount of gold over here. Probably doesn't weigh much at all. We can just call it 2.2 grams. So taking a closer look at this stuff, you can see we have lots and lots of faceted gemstones, little pieces of gold jewelry, all sorts of things here. Now for only 4 pounds of material, and probably, I don't know, it took me quite a while. I think it took me about 2 hours to collect all this material. The gold itself is worth about 300 bucks. The diamonds are about $100 per carat, but it depends on the size of the diamonds, and these guys are really small. We have under a carat, so I'd say maybe 25 or 50 bucks worth of diamonds. All the other gemstones and everything, kind of negligible. Now, if we were to cash this stuff out, we'd make maybe 350 bucks. But I just hoard this stuff like a dragon. I have jars full of this stuff that I collected from all of my urban prospecting videos. Yeah, I just wanted to give kind of a value on what it would be worth if I decided to ever sell it. Thanks again, everyone, for watching my video. If you're interested in treasure hunting and you'd like to see a couple more videos from me, check out the other one linked here on the screen. I also have a bunch of playlists you can look through. A big thanks to all the names scrolling right there. That's all my Patreon supporters and channel members. And I'll see you guys on the next video.